This is your host and real estate coach, Rafael Cortez. You are listening to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where every week I bring you the real life case studies and strategies you need to level up your real estate wholesaling business. If you haven't done so yet, go to reiwholesaling.com. Again, that's reiwholesaling.com. Sign up and get free access to your Wholesaling 101 course. This free training teaches you step by step everything you need to close your next wholesale deal and start making big money now. Fam, what's up? Welcome to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where you get backstage access to the real and the raw of real estate entrepreneurship. We are sitting down today with Ray Zhang. He's an expert when it comes to flipping land. It's a very particular model. He's got mad results like throughout the year. I think right now we're just about to go into December. We're wrapping up the third quarter. You've had $900,000 in profits, right? So that's net in profit, through land sales, right? A lot of people think that land deals are more on the smaller side. So I want to break into that. And then your total revenue has been close to the $2 million mark. I want to find out how you're doing it. I want to find out what your process is. And we're going to absolutely pick your brain on everything we can when it comes to this land strategy that you have, man. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Hey, thank you, Rafael, to invite me. And it's a pleasure. I'll do whatever I can to help your listeners.
Beautiful, man. The one thing, where are you based out of? I know your area code is Hawaii, right?
Yeah, I used to live in Hawaii and then moved to Florida.
Okay.
Right now, I'm about 2 hours north of Orlando. So.
Okay, right on. So you're currently based in Florida. Tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate, how that transitioned into land, and what you're working on right now.
Yeah, it's been a rough journey because I started about 9 years ago. I came to the country about 10 years ago. I was basically homeless by then. Mm-hmm. And I heard about Tom Crow, and he has been a very big influence in my life. And I was a car dealer when I first came here because I have to do something to support myself, right? So I used to live in the car, and then I'll sell one, and then I'll live in another car, sell that one. So that's been a life for a couple of months for me.
Wow. And this is where you moved to Hawaii, or you moved from where?
I moved to Hawaii from China.
Okay.
So I've it's a great experience. And then after I settled a little, I had a little bit of money flipping cars, right? Yeah. And then I was like, what should I do at night? Because in Hawaii at night it's still in the morning. Hawaii morning time is already the midday in the mainland. I was like, there's something I can do. So yeah. So I did wholesaling houses in Hawaii. It didn't work because the houses are very expensive and very few people want to sell. Yeah. And I tried virtual wholesaling. I found out it's even harder. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to.
Yeah. I mean, those are you need strategy for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So after that I did apartments. Okay. So nothing worked out very well until I found out land.
And you started doing land in Hawaii, or did you tap into different markets?
Yeah, virtually in the mainland in Colorado. Okay. That was my very first area. Uh-huh. And I say this easy right now, but from the moment I started to do wholesaling houses to the moment I found land, that 6 years period. So I wandering around, spending tons on programs, 6 years without any major results.
Man, I'm 6 years without major results. That's crazy. And when it comes to the show of tenacity, right? You're moving in from a totally different country. I'm sure it was a cultural shock by the time you got into the States. And then it took you, you said 10 years ago you moved. 9 years ago you started doing this. So it took a year to just kind of get the balls, the wheels going on this. There's a lot when it comes to the learning curve. There's a lot to process there, right? I see, and man, it just it breaks my heart every time I see somebody quit after 3 months. I mean, you went to town on this dream of yours for 6 years until you hit it.
Right. Yeah. Because I think Tony Robbins talk about it, the pain and pleasure, right? And there are people doing deals, they want a better life, but there are people doing deals because they hate their old life.
Yeah.
And that was who I was. I mean, I try to get rich, so that gave me tons of motivation.
You know what, that works, man. A lot of times we start off, with the pursuit of the dollar, and then we evolve as individuals as we start, progressing through deals, through life, through financial levels, and just different thresholds. But when and I talk about this quite often in a lot of my content, but it's when we're in a state of survival. Like it's almost like a superpower, because it's easy to hold on to that dream, hold on to that vision, right, that we want to accomplish or reach.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Sticking with something for that long, right? And trying things, out, and learning and gaining experience as you go through this entire process. It's easier said than done. So big kudos on that. So you find land, and this is what, 4 years ago, you said? Around 4 years ago?
About 4 years ago, yes.
Okay. Break that down. So, okay, you find land, you start going to town on land deals. Tell me about, I'm going to pick your brain, man. I'm going to have you just, I mean, drop all the goodies on the table here. But what kind of strategy when it comes to land are you implementing? How are you finding the leads, and what's the X factor that you have in there?
Do you want to talk about when I first started or what I'm doing right now?
Actually, take me through the timeline. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this is gold. So
Yeah. So when I first started, I joined this program. I paid like 70,000 for the coaching, and
yeah,
honestly, it wasn't the model I wanted, because what they teach is you buy a land for 1,000 or 2,000, and you sell them on terms for about 5 or 6,000, and
yeah,
every month you get $150 monthly cash
yeah.
flow.
You start building up the cash flow. Yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't my type, because I'm generally very impatient guy. I don't want to build $150 a month
Yeah.
term still. And another thing is I have to do a lot of work to get that land sold, because I post on Facebook Marketplace and people message you, is this available? And then they're gone next day, right? You
Yeah.
cannot find them anymore. So I was like, this is not for me. And I was thinking, how can I twist this whole model? But I find out in the same group, there are a lot of people doing the exact same thing, right? They buy a land and sell on terms, right? Because they're teaching that. So I was like, how about I sell it to them? I sell the land to those guys, the term investors. So I mailed the entire county for the landowners who own 5 land or more. I only target
5 parcels or more. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, hey, I'm a cash buyer. I want to buy your land, every single land you have, and how much would you do? And then I hit the jackpot on this guy. He owned 150. He owned 300 lots in that same subdivision. So
wow.
I bought half of it, 150 parcels, and I sold every single one of them in 4 months to the same group of guys.
Did you close on it? Did you actually use your funds to buy the land, or did you get funding for it? How did that work?
And we came up with a deal. I buy 20 at a time, and each property is $1,000, so 20,000 at a time.
Oh wow.
And then I will sell that 20 within, no joke, 7 days. Everything's gone, and for 2,500 each.
Yeah.
So that the whole thing sold within 4 months.
Wow. Okay. So you went and locked it for $1,000 and closed on it. So it became your land. You're not doing an assignment or anything like that. It was your land. Then you turn around, sell that for $2,500, use that cash to go buy another lot of 20, and then do the same thing again, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I was like, I'm not gonna hit a jackpot every single year, right?
Yeah.
What if I don't find a guy like that? So
let me interject there. Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to make it like a sideline point here. You're being very creative with that type of deal structure. We may not hit, right, those types of jackpots, and every single week or every month, right? But when they come across, you got to have the acuity to recognize them. you got to have the, okay, how can I make this thing work? If the guy was selling you 150 parcels, but you could only, buy 20, like, all right, I'll do segments on this. And you forward think or front load that conversation and set it up so you can keep coming back to just, cash out on the rest of them. That's amazing, man. Good work there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It was hard to do the decision at first, but once I bought the first pack, I sold it within 7 days. I was totally confident, right?
Yeah.
And
Nice.
after that, after the 2 years, about 3 years later, until last year, and I just did a deal here and there because I had my car business by then, and then I joined the Tony Robbins event, and he's jumping around like and very very
those
crazy,
are amazing,
right?
by the way. I love Tony Robbins event.
They're good. And then I made a decision that day I'm gonna move to mainland and start to do land full time. I have no idea what I'm going to face, right?
Yeah.
And then on the way moving, I met this military who did 1.4 million profit in 10 months, only land. And he does infill lots.
Wow. Infill
lots. Yeah. Infill lots meaning there's a lot nearby the houses or in the middle of houses, right?
Yep.
So I just chase him like a puppy, right? Like what Tom Girl like to say. And and then I ask him everything. I like, can you teach me? And I want to do that. And that's when everything started.
Yeah. Wow. So you've taken that approach. So you started that way. You mentioned that you started in a specific way. Now you're doing something different. Tell me about that evolution. So you choose to specialize in land, go to town on that. You start getting deals done. You see that it's a real thing, and then you decide to bust it open, right? How was that strategy different than what you're doing right now?
Mainly it's about the location. The one I did is 1,000 each, right? And then I sold it for 2,500. That's now 25,000, right? So that's very cheap in the middle of nowhere land.
Yeah.
So I'm used to that, and I don't know anything else if there's more expensive land to do. But he did a very big impact on my life because I was like, wow, there's a better way to do it. Because have you heard about the saying, the bigger deals take the same time as the small deals, right? But it's actually not true. The truth is the bigger deals take less time than the small deals.
Yeah, I would agree with that at 1,000%. Crazy thing is the smaller deals are usually the biggest headaches as well.
Correct. And you have to do a lot of work yourself because there's no margin to hire anybody. But I did the bigger deals. Mainly the area is different, the location is different, the buyers are completely different. They don't disappear, right?
Yeah.
And the seller is different too. So I think that's the biggest difference.
So when you say bigger deals, what are you looking at? Are you still looking at is it this infill land? Are you looking at commercial land or stuff that you're selling to developers? Break it down.
I only do infill lots, residential buildable lots, no commercial, no industrial, no agricultural. So price range from 10 to 15,000 to
That's
200.
Retail?
Yeah, retail. So 10 to if you retail 15,000, not 100. I'm sorry. So 10 to 15,000.
Yeah.
To 250,000. So that's the price range right now I'm focusing on.
Okay.
No more $1,000, no more 1,500,
Yeah.
So no small deals.
Then infill residential, and they're buildable.
Correct.
How are you finding, like, what's your best method for finding leads for that type of investment, for that type of deal or property?
I do direct mail only.
Mail? Really?
Yeah. And the direct mail with the offer. So we basically offer 40 to 55% of the sold average price in the same subdivision.
Oh, for whatever it sold the last time it sold?
Within the last 3 months, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 40 or 50% of whatever the comps are in the area?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. We use I use multiple different services for pulling lists and stuff like that. One of them being batch leads. What do you use to find that kind of data?
I use list source.
List source.
And yeah, that's very helpful, list source. Or
Yeah.
you can use data tree, but list source is a little bit cheaper. So
Gotcha. All right. So walk me through this process. So you literally send a letter out with an offer. Is that a letter of intent, like an LOI, or is it a contract?
it's a purchase agreement. Yes. And
Okay. You don't mess around, bro.
Yeah.
you
Right.
don't. If you're talking to Ray, you're getting a contract.
Right.
So okay, cool. So your initial point of a contact is a letter. I'm assuming introduction type of deal, and then you send out a contract along with it.
Correct.
And then see what comes back or what.
Yeah. So those people who call us back or email me back or even mail me back, they're very motivated to sell and they know the price I'm paying.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, after the letter comes back, I still negotiate on top of the 40% offer. So for example, I just got, for example, I just got a deal for $1,000 and that lot worth about 25 grand. So you got to negotiate again when the offer comes back.
How does that conversation go? I mean, you already knocked them to 40 to 50%.
Right.
Like, why would somebody sell you their lot for less than that? Or how do you approach that conversation?
I really appreciate Tom again, and he has been teaching me all these years. I've been following him.
By the way, let's a big shout out to Tom Crow. He's an amazing individual, a great coach, one of my favorite people, hands down in the world. So love you, Tom.
All right, let's share the interview to him. But anyways, he introduced a book called Flip the Script. So that there's a concept inside, it's called always believing, right? Not like not faith, right? Not belief. It's always try to leave.
Yeah.
Meaning I'm not pushing you. Yeah, take away. I'm not pushing to get the deal. I'm pulling away.
Yeah.
Right. So if the seller said you offer 10,000, I'll be like, I know I offer you 10,000. I don't know if I can still do that because I look at the land, there's trees on there. Have you ever been there recently? That'll be something like this. I'm trying to go. I'm not trying to buy your land, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very good strategy, I think.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, the takeaway, and the takeaway works. I mean, it's a really good strategy if you're serious about it, right? You have to be serious about being able to walk away. Now, when you're able to get somebody under contract or a piece of land under contract, you do your due diligence, the comps and numbers and all that stuff. What's the next step? Meaning, how do you market that property, or where do you find your buyers for that type of deal?
Yeah. Before we actually close it, I teach my students there are 3 layers of your security of your investment. We put up money to buy a land. We never want to lose money, right? So the first layer is the 40% offer, because you buy something 40% of the sold price, you're pretty secure, right? And the second layer is the negotiation. So we do that, and we even bring down more. And I have never bought a land that the seller is not willing to get more discount. Never happened. Yeah. So they always want to drop a little bit more. Right? Yeah. So the third layer is what we're going to do next, which is we are contacting the realtors who sold the properties nearby. And we're going to contact them. The conversation will be like, hey, Mr. Realtor, my name is Ray. I'm about to close this deal. I'm a national land investor. So I want to make sure that I don't lose my money. So I have this lot. After I acquire it, I will for sure put it on the market by a realtor like you. It kind of gives them a little bit motivation, right? Yeah. And then I'll say, what do you think the absolute minimum I can sell this land for in 30 days? And
Yeah.
they'll be like, do you mean maximum? I was like, no, not maximum. Do you think the minimum we can sell this for? So they will take some time and tell me a number. I will compare that with my price I'm gonna pay. And then we're gonna close. After we close,
And you want to be below that number, I assume, right?
of course, far below. Has to be far below.
Do you have a percentage, like a threshold?
At least I think for me, I have to double my money.
Yeah.
So at least 50%.
Oh, that's right. You were saying that you right. I think it was right before we click record. Like you double everything you look at. You want to make 100% return.
Correct.
So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So after we close it, we can list that property with the same realtor, and we put on the MLS to sell. So.
Wow. Okay. So you actually go to the retail market and list it.
Correct.
Isn't it crazy that sellers could do that same thing while they have the property? They just don't go through the process of the headache. Yeah. So it's one of the things, right, that I get asked by students. Why would somebody sell me their property? They just don't want the headache, or they don't have the time for it. We are, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this before too, but we're exchanging time and convenience for a fee, for a profit. Like that's what we're doing, right?
Right.
Where you come in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
and for land is even easier because think about it. People have emotions attached to their house, but they don't have emotion attached to their land.
Yeah.
Sometimes even negative emotions because they have been paying taxes and they do nothing to the land. For houses, you can still live in there, right?
Right.
So for land, they hate it. They want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So for a very extreme example, I bought a land this year for $700, and that lady paid $155,000 in 2007.
Wow.
And for that lot, it's right on the ocean. I mean,
wow. Are you keeping that puppy, or are you selling it?
I'm keeping it, right? And
$700. Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked her, "Why do you sell after we close?" Right?
I said, exactly. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? What's the deal here?
Yeah. She said, "I want to claim a loss in my company for tax purpose, right?" So people sell it for different reasons.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing, right? As like, if you're not used to business and how it works in terms of taxation and all kinds of loopholes in there, right? You're gonna think that price is the only motivator. Price is the only thing that makes things stick. And it's really not. It can be time, it can be condition. They just don't, they're far, they're tired, they're paying, taxes on that thing, on a yearly basis. And it's just annoying to do it. Not even painful, because the taxes may not even be that high. It's just annoying, right? So it's one of those things that it's out of sight, out of mind until we, come to them, and then there's an offer in play. And then you have tax strategy. You have, all kinds of things that play into that, into that space. So I think one of the important things to consider is you don't be limited, right, by by assumptions when it comes to why somebody's going to sell the property to you, because obviously you can make $900,000 on land deal a year. So amazing.
Absolutely.
So you go through this process, and it's just a rinse and repeat. You're using your own capital to close on the deals, and you're talking. What's the average? Give me a ballpark of the average revenue.
Right now, sometime I see I can buy a land for 10,000. I can sell for 25 or 30. And I try to stay in those price range. Like, I have a profit margin for like 20 grand.
20K.
Yeah, or sometimes 10 grand. So that's a good deal too, right?
Yeah.
So something around there. And for land, typically is a little bit longer to sell. But right now we are seeing those delays because the market. Yeah. But it still sells.
Yeah. Well, on average, how many, like, when you send out and give me average numbers and kind of like KPI tracking on campaigns. If you send out a campaign of 1,000, how many leads would you normally get out of something like that?
It's hard to track because I'm in 40 different markets, but I can tell you this: in those 40, Yeah. So in those 40 markets, I mailed only 3 counties that I did not get a deal. Either because I offered too low, or the number was just not a big number, like 600 letters, not too
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah.
And whenever I mail more than 3,000 letters to one area, I'm pretty much guaranteed I can get a deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is all infield land. So you go vacant land and then infield. How do you segment that when you're looking up your filters?
It's mainly the first step, which
I
is
told
market.
you, I told you I was gonna have you spill all your guts on the show.
Yeah, I'm willing to share whatever I know. So absolutely no secret holding. I'll share
Beautiful.
whatever now. So the
That's
first
what's up.
one, the first one is a market selection. So you got to make sure that that area has houses nearby.
Yeah.
Right? I don't go to like in the middle of desert, so
Yeah.
it's hard to sell. And another thing is we only buy in subdivisions that have sold in the past 3 months. So let's say that subdivision has 0 sold in the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go in there even.
Mm.
So I don't mail to the entire county. I only mail to subdivisions that have sold status.
Mm.
So that way you are secure from the first place, right?
Yeah.
You find something that already have sold areas.
Yeah, there's activity. There's stuff going on in the area.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes sense. Do you get hit up by a lot of developers like for these land deals, or is it usually just like end users that want to have their land and do their own thing?
Yeah, I would say mainly developers.
Mm.
The builders want to buy them, and they don't want to go through the trouble to find the sellers, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I had a deal that I had to fly to New York because this gentleman is very old. I bought that deal for $4,000,
Yeah.
and I sold it the day we listed for 68,000. So that's
Wow.
a pretty extreme example, but I'm just trying to show you guys what is possible with land. So it's not like you have to make $1,000 profit on each
Right.
land. You can go bigger. So
And I think a lot of the I don't want to say stigma, but I think the consensus is that, right? Like, yeah, land deals are a lot smaller, it's really not true. You can have big, massive deals. Like one of my wholesaling students locked up a land deal, going through the wholesaling process, ended up making $200,000 on that. And I mean, huge deal. Also in Florida, he's out of Tampa, but he crushed it just outside of Tampa. Right, he hit one of those whales. I have another good friend of mine that all he does is land. So he does land and then develops or sells to developers and just crushes in that space. So it's not always those like smaller, cash flow operations. That's really good for long term. But like you said, if you want to build cash on a quick, relatively quickly, you're going to have to do something, a little bit more drastic about it. And in this case, you're putting your own, money into it, right? So you're not buying a house, you're buying land. It's still an asset, so it's tangible. It's something there, and it minimizes the risk, right? But you still have that time factor and whatnot. So this is also one thing that if you have, I don't know, family members with, somebody's got $20,000-$30,000. They don't know what to do with them and whatnot. And they want to invest them. Like go find private capital for these, smaller purchases and that still apparently have bigger margins, right?
Yeah.
So, how many deals did you do this or have you done to date this year?
I think at least I buy and sold. Some of them I'm keeping, and at least I would say close to 100. So there's a lot of deals there.
Wow. So you're talking anywhere from like 8 to 12 deals on a monthly basis on average?
Right.
We're
Yeah,
11
right.
months into it.
Yeah, right now we're slowing down a little bit. This month I only close I think 2 deals, and next month we have 2 scheduled. So it used to be like crazy, like every week you can sell a couple, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow. And all you do for marketing is letters, direct mail.
Direct mail. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome, man. I guess direct mail is not dead.
They've been saying that for years, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, better for you. Better for you. You got less competition that way.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so yeah, I guess it depends on the strategy that you're putting behind it. So, awesome, man. Well, this is great. This is great stuff. I mean, I didn't know. I don't have. I don't. I mean, I've done land deals, but it's not one of the things that I specialize in. I specialize in wholesaling. So, coming to it from this perspective, and then looking at your track record, at your story, right? How you got started years ago, and then you went through the downs of building your entrepreneur business, your real estate entrepreneurship business, for 6 years before you actually struck gold. I mean, dude, that speaks for itself, right? There's no other outcome than success when you have that level of tenacity. So,
Yeah,
Ray, thank you so much, man, for sharing this and for being so open, because I know I can have some direct questions. A lot of times it's like, this is the X factor, the secret weapon
yeah,
that I'm so
yeah.
thank you for that, bro.
And can
No,
I add a little bit? One more thing.
yeah, of course.
You mind? Okay. So one of the big obstacles people think is, oh, I don't have money, right? I don't have money
Yeah,
to do marketing. I don't have money to invest in coaching, or I don't have money to buy the deals. What do I do?
yeah,
So that's first of all, there are people looking for deals. If you have a deal that's good enough, they're cash to you, no problem.
yeah,
There are people buying those land, right? And the second thing is you can really doing something in your spare time, and that's how I did it. I really want to share because I used to, when I was homeless, I had this car. I used to go to just drive around. I see mattress, I put in my car, I'll sell it,
yeah,
right? I'll sell it for $50. So that's your $50. You can mail how many letters,
yeah,
right? So you can leverage that in your letters.
yeah.
So there's no excuse. You can make it work for sure. I can guarantee you that if
Where,
you're truly
where there's
committed.
a will, there's a way, right?
Yes,
It's important to understand that we don't have to have all the resources. We have to be resourceful, which is a completely different thing, and it really changes the thought process behind the deal and acquisition stage. So that's
definitely.
amazing, man. If now if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where is the best place to find you? And I know you do
Uh,
coaching, you do one-on-one coaching.
yeah.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So just I'm on Instagram. It's called Virtual Flip Land. One word.
Mm-hmm.
VIRTUAL, right? Virtual Flip Land. So one word.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And yeah.
Okay, just reach out to you on IG. You're pretty
Yeah,
active on DMs and all that stuff. So
definitely.
awesome. Well, you guys heard it, right? If you want to reach out to Ray and then just pick his brain, he's there at Virtual Flip Land. That's his handle on IG. And again, man, I want to thank you for stopping by and then just being such a good sport and then sharing your golden nuggets of information, which I know how hard it is to get to a point when you understand the business to a level that you do, and it's easy to become protective, right, of all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's collaboration over competition. I think that's what gets us to that next level. So
Absolutely.
big thank you on that.
Thank you, Rafael.
Fam, thank you for listening. Every week I bring you the real, the raw, the mindset, the case studies, and the strategies you need to build your own successful real estate wholesaling business. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on real life experience and information that can make you millions. It's time to join the ranks of successful wholesalers and real estate entrepreneurs like the one you just heard, and take advantage of one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our lifetime to generate wealth. So go to reiwholesaling.com. Head over to my website, again, that's reiwholesaling.com, and learn how to make big profits, make big money by finding, negotiating, and closing wholesale deals from your own backyard. You've heard the stories, seen the case studies, stop thinking about it, it's time to write your own. Again, head over to reiwholesaling.com, click on coaching program, book a discovery call, have a conversation with my team, and you might get an invitation to join hundreds of students throughout the country who are leveling up on a daily basis. The writing is on the wall. Hustle is a season. It's not a business strategy. Take action, start building a sustainable and scalable real estate wholesaling business, and join the coaching program today. I will catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon. Stay focused. You got this.